started. And I would love to share a presentation with you. Okay, this is something that we're going to discuss with you today. Let me do it like this. Okay, do you see my screen? Can you put a plus in the chat or thumbs up? Okay, good. Marina, thank you. Thank you for like very quick feedback. So today, welcome to the workshop on cultural differences and how to build efficient communication. Okay, so this is what we're going to discuss today. First, let me introduce myself and tell you a couple of words about me. I'm Olga, and I'm a teacher and head of studies in onlайн-школа. I've been teaching business English for more than 10 years, and I pride myself on forging successful collaboration in a multinational team. I have experience working with very different people, very different positions, from QA engineers to developers, project managers, business analysts, CEOs of companies, mainly IT companies. And I also have dealt with people from different countries. And my job is to, as a manager, to make people do what I need them to do. And we'll be happy to share my expertise with you today. People might be joining, but I hope that they'll catch up with us. Hi, Nastya. Welcome. We've just started. We've just started. So let me move on. Okay. Yeah. The agenda for today is the following. We will have a look at different types of cultures. We will learn how to be diplomatic, how to be assertive. Also, we'll have a look at how to interpret people's intentions, because sometimes it's not very clear what people might really mean, and also how to identify different communication styles and adapt to them. I'd like to share a couple of kind of recommendations. Yeah, I would like you to take part in the discussion. Like, this is rather a workshop than a webinar. I will open the chat on my screen so that I have a look at your questions. So if you have a question or a comment, you can write in the chat, or you can honestly jump into the discussion. Okay, like unmute yourself, and I'll be happy again to discuss or clarify something. Ask questions. Okay, this is also an important thing, because there are no stupid questions. I do believe so. We'll be happy to, if you could participate, yeah, by asking questions. Hi, Matt. Happy to have you here today. And share your experience. I'll be asking you some questions from time to time, and I'll be happy if you could share your experience of working with different cultures, for people from different countries, because it can be like, you know, invaluable. So I'm happy. I hope that we'll be sharing a lot today. Okay, guys, moving on. And the first question I have to you is the following. So how confident do you feel about your communication with other cultures? Can you put a number, let's say from 1 to 10, 1 being not confident at all, and 10 being like really, really confident? Mm, 7, 5, 7, okay. 5, 7, okay. 5 and 7 are leading. 7, okay. Okay, thank you guys for sharing. So it means that you already probably have some knowledge about multicultural communication, right? But as always, there is always room for perfection. There is always something to learn. And I have one more question to you guys. People from what countries have you worked with? Oh, Violeta, 10. Violeta, you should be conducting the workshop probably. And can you tell me people from what countries you've worked with, or working with currently, or dealt with in the past? Because we'll be talking about Canada, USA, Israel. Okay. Oh, Brazil. Oh, wow. Brazil is interesting. Israel, Europe, Americans. Well, Americans probably most common, right? Because we do speak the language. And we'll be talking mainly about English-speaking people, I mean natives, but not only. Okay. So actually not a wide range. US, UK, Emirates, right? Israel. Okay. Slovakia. Wow, it's interesting. That's interesting. We can go back to this question later. Okay, thank you guys for sharing. Let's move on. So basically, very roughly, cultures can be divided into two types, direct and indirect. And from a language point of view, direct cultures use so-called upgraders, words like absolutely, totally, strongly, and these words tend to make the meaning of your idea a bit stronger. You have some examples here. That is absolutely inappropriate, or that is totally unprofessional. And in contrast, indirect cultures use so-called downgraders. These words are used to minimize the meaning of what we mean and what we're saying. And there are a lot in English. We'll have a look at them in a bit more detail later. So kind of, sort of, a little, a bit, maybe, slightly, and so on. And again, I've prepared some examples for you here. So there might be a slight delay, or we're not quite there yet. Even when you say, I'm not quite sure, it sounds more diplomatic than just, I'm not sure. We have to adjust, right? Most of you, not most of you, but some of you wrote that they have to deal with Canada, the USA, the US, basically kind of native English speakers. And that is why English speaking culture is an indirect culture. And we have to adjust our communication and to adjust the way we use the language. And today, the first thing, the first super important thing that I'd like to share with you is language tools that can make you sound more diplomatic and more professional. Let's have a look. The first one, modals. May, might, could, would. My personal favorite is might, because even if you decide to implement one tool, one thing, and you incorporate might into your communication, it will change dramatically. You will sound a lot more professional, a lot more diplomatic, and it will be a game changer. Again, I've prepared some questions or some examples for you. Let me read them out. Yeah, I'm afraid we might not be able to finish on time due to unforeseen circumstances. Or a very long question as a request. Would it be okay to ask you if you could send a follow-up after our meeting? You're having even two words, two verbs, would and could. Another thing is continuous forms. And again, you have some examples here, I was wondering, I was thinking, we were hoping. For example, I was wondering if it would be possible to stretch the deadline a bit. Here you have a contracted modal verb again. Or I was thinking more along the lines of changing the strategy. This is a very nice example, especially the second one. And you can use it in a situation when you kind of disagree with someone's idea, and you want to offer another suggestion. Okay, so I know that our students know this phrase, and this is also a very nice phrase, very advanced phrase that you can use. Rephrased negatives. Basically, the structure is the following, the formula, not plus a positive word. For example, I'm not really sure that it's such a good idea. Or last year's project was not really a success. The second phrase actually means that it failed, the project failed. But in English, they do try to make the communication positive. And also I can share, I've been doing an online course on efficient communication provided by Santander Bank. So if you're located in Poland or in Europe, I'm not sure about other countries, but you can take free online courses. And it wasn't about cultural communication. It was just about efficient communication in business and workplaces. And one of the lessons was devoted to positive communication. So, and the idea was try to avoid negative phrases and expressions and try to, instead of a problem, say challenge and things like that. So keep that in mind. Qualifiers. A bit, a little bit, just, quite, slight. Again, I gave you already this example, quite sure. I'm not quite sure sounds a lot better than just not sure. And again, a couple of examples. There might be a slight delay, I'm afraid. Or it's a bit more expensive than we anticipated. The last one, like the second one, is good for negotiating a price, for example, yeah, for something or a budget. Softeners. I know that everybody knows about them. Such phrases like I'm afraid, I'm really sorry, unfortunately. Again, let's have a look at some examples. I'm afraid it's out of the scope of today's discussion. This is something that you can tell a person if they're digressing and going off the topic of the discussion, for example. Or, I'm sorry to have to tell you that we have exceeded the budget. I know that for Russian-speaking people, it sounds a little bit kind of extra or unnecessary. But for an English-speaking person, these are very important phrases because they show that you care. If you just say, we have exceeded the budget, you will come across as very cold-hearted person. You don't care about the project or about the work that you're doing. Yeah? So that is why it's very crucial to use such expressions. Impersonal constructions. There seems to be, again, let's have a look at the examples. There seems to be some sort of mix-up. Or, I seem to have mixed up the information. Again, remember that we are talking about an indirect culture. That is why instead of saying there is a mistake, we say, well, there seems to be some sort of mix-up. And honestly, I put two similar expressions, like also the same expressions. Mix up here, it's in the first example, it's a noun, and here it's a verb. And it's one of my favorite words because when you need to point out another person's mistake, or when you need to report your own mistake, yeah, you've mixed up the information. Yeah, instead of saying like I was wrong, like I did a stupid thing, you can say I have mixed up, unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I highly recommend remembering this phrase. And one more thing that I'd like to share with you, a scary word probably, euphemisms. And now I have a question to you guys, like, have you ever heard about euphemisms? And if yes, like, can you share what it is? You can take a wild guess. No. Okay. Thank you, Polina. Thank you for being honest. Anyone else can try to guess, take a wild guess. What could it mean? Not yet. Oh, like, Julia, nice job. Like, not yet. You're going to learn like in a minute. So no ideas, right? Okay, that's good. That's good. Like, this is something that's we are doing today, like learning. So euphemism is a mild and indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt. Blunt means direct, when referring usually to something unpleasant. So for example, when you have to give some negative feedback, or usually about breaking bad news, or describe some unpleasant situation, and it's a really nice way to use it. Okay. Again, let me share a couple of examples. Instead of saying one of my colleagues is currently unemployed, which is, unemployed has negative meaning. The person has no job, like jobless. You can say he's between jobs. Yeah, it means like he finished one and just hasn't found another one. Moreover, I was watching a series and I heard this euphemism taken to the next level. There was a situation when a guy asked another guy, "How's your missus? How's your wife?" And he replied, "I'm between wives." So like probably divorced the previous one and hasn't found a new one. Another example is, "I'm afraid I've mislaid my copy of the document." Instead of saying lost and coming across as like absent-minded and irresponsible, you just say, "I've mislaid my copy. It's somewhere there. I know it, like I should have it, but just can't seem to find it at the moment." Or my favorite example, my students also usually love this example. The company has been having losses, and losses, well, nobody likes losses, right? Because this is something super negative for the budget of the company and for the company. And you can say generating negative profit. Isn't it beautiful? Profit is, of course, a positive word, right? Because like everybody's working for the profit, but negative profit. Okay, do you have any questions here? Are euphemisms clear? Because this is something, probably a new piece of information, right? Can you give me some sign? Can you put a plus in the chat if everything is clear? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks. Yeah, I'll try to come up with a list of some more euphemisms that you can use in business English. And it's important not only that you use them yourself, but it's also important to understand the expression when other people use them, like other native speakers, like your customers or clients or colleagues. Okay. Marina has a question. Does it work better than a direct sentence? Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yeah. And euphemisms, again, if we go back to the previous slide, yeah. So it's a mild, indirect expression. And usually to describe something unpleasant. And in most cases, like that's the function, the purpose, yeah, the purpose of such words. Between jobs, mislaid the copy, yeah, okay. So again, important to know them, to not only like just you can make your own speech diplomatic, but also to understand native speakers, because sometimes like it's not very clear, like he's between jobs, like what do you mean, right? But now you know. Okay, and I have one more question to you. Which of the tools are you already implementing in your communication? Can you write, for example, like models or might? Short answers will do, but they'll be very interesting for me, like what you're already using in your like day-to-day work communication. Okay, yeah, sure. We can go through all of them again. Like I'll have to go through all the slides. Okay, so models: may, might, could, would, can. Can is also a model. Continuous forms: I was hoping, I was wondering, was thinking. Rephrase negatives: not very. One example I can also give you, like he's not very hardworking, means he's totally lazy. Yeah, so also like reading between the lines sometimes is important. Qualifiers: a bit, slightly. Softeners: I'm sure that like you do try to use softeners, right? I'm afraid, I'm really sorry, unfortunately. Impersonal constructions are also passive. Yeah, passive might also be indirect. Instead of saying that I did it, something has been done. And euphemisms. Okay, Karina, thank you for the sharing. So all of them, nice job. Qualifiers and softeners. Models, continuous forms, qualifiers. Yeah, you see quite a lot. Alina, nice job with rephrase negatives. Models, yeah. Again, as I've mentioned, like if you want to change like one thing, like models is the way to go, especially may and might. Okay, nice. Okay, thank you for sharing. And one more question regarding this topic. Which tools do you find the most challenging? What do you think? Somebody else is joining. Hi, Daria. Welcome. We've covered a part of the material, but we will make a recording. We are making a recording and we'll send it to you a bit later so you can catch up. Okay. So, guys, any tools that are challenging? Models. Hard to fill the right form, right? Real meaning. Okay, Pauline, that's very nice comments. The challenge is not to say, but understand the real meaning. And euphemisms. Yeah, totally agree with Nesta. So it's important to understand and know a lot of euphemisms and know them like also well, yeah, to be able to use them freely. Rephrase to positive. Maxim, thank you for sharing. Okay. No plus something negative. Okay. Oh, no plus infinitive, right? No. You think you sound Russian. Yeah, we will talk about that. Yeah, how we sound sometimes. Okay, let's move on. And before we move on, I would like to share kind of a case. One of our students came with a request. She lived in the US and she wanted to sound natural and professional. And as an example of what she wanted, she shared an email. Here's this email. On the left, this is the email that she wrote. On the right, this is the version of the same email rewritten by or re-edited or edited by ChatGPT. I will give you a minute to look it through just to read it. And guys, my question to you is, what do you think is the difference? Like, how does the first email sound? How does the second, the email on the right sound? Can you share your thoughts on that?
The first one to
Karina, sorry, you were breaking up a bit. Can you repeat that?
polite, I think.
The first one.
I'm sorry. The first one sounds too strict and too straight, and the second one sounds more polite.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, that also seconds that. Yeah, the second sounds more polite, more formal. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah, well, red one sounds more direct. Okay, well, that's true. And that is, honestly, when I saw the screenshot, it made me smile because the email on the right contains all of the expressions that we've just covered with you, and also all the things that we usually teach in our business courses. And to help you understand and help you like learn and remember, let's analyze it together. Okay. Again, I will try to keep an eye on the chat. Or again, you can like to make it a bit easier, just a sec. To make it a bit easier, you can just, as Karina did, unmute yourself and just speak up, okay? So let's analyze this email. What expressions have been used here? I'll underline them in order to see them. So, like for example, models. Yeah, can you give an example of a model or like continuous form? Yeah, and you name the continuous form. Somebody's. I'll start, guys. Like, sorry, I was wondering. So a continuous form. Somebody's talking, right? So a continuous form. To make it sound like to make a request, right? I was wondering if you could assist me. Okay, what else? We're doing, guys, this task. Yeah, go ahead.
If you could,
Good.
it's model.
Right, model verb. We're doing this task in order to help you analyze and also remember the constructions. Yeah, it'll be easier for you. Okay, what else?
We use impersonal.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Daria.
Yeah, so like I sent to impersonal constructions or subject-related sentences to make it more easy for understanding and shorter.
Okay, this one, yeah, I seem to, right?
Yeah, I seem to have.
Yeah, this one is also nice. Yeah, I seem to have misplaced the contract as well. Like similar, I have it somewhere. Yeah, sounds a lot more professional. Okay, and also this one, I'm unable to locate. Also a beautiful phrase. Yeah. Okay, good. And probably one more thing, right?
I can agree with that. I agree with Daria, but I seem to have misplaced. Also, we can add furthermore here.
Yeah, like it sounds, I would say that it sounds pretty formal. It depends on who you're writing to. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. Okay, and anything else?
Would it be possible?
Yeah, definitely. Would it be possible for you to? It's you see that email is longer, but yeah, definitely it's more diplomatic. And the last phrase was also nice, like looking forward to hearing back from you. Yeah? Okay, great job. Okay, oh, just a sec. I will clean it. Yeah, perfect. Well done. And now, guys, we're going to have a little bit of more practice. I have prepared 5 sentences that I would like you to translate into diplomatic English. Okay. Now I'll ask you to write your options in the chat. I will give you enough time, so take a minute. And the first one is, we're behind schedule. How would you paraphrase to make it more diplomatic, more professional? Then I'll offer you my possible option, not the only one, of course. But I would like to give you some feedback on yours. It seems we need more time. Okay, like let's wait for the others. Okay, Karina, I would, it's good. It's a lot better. I would also need, I would also add might. It seems we might need some more time, for example. I'm afraid we might miss the deadline. Yeah, this is a good one. And you have might, you have I'm afraid. All right, Nesta decided to ask a question, right? That's good. Would it be possible to extend the deadline? Yes, this is a very nice request. Yeah, nice question to make a request. Good job. Anything else? We might need to push the delivery date because of additional requirements. Matt, great job. Yeah, nice. I like it. The timeline of our project got extended. Okay. Yeah, this one, that is option sounds kind of like impersonal, right? Like, yeah, impersonal construction got extended. Good. The deadline seems to be out. I would say out of schedule. Yeah. Oh, behind. Yeah, behind schedule. Okay, this is like kind of you can deal with it as a set phrase. Yeah. Also nice, Marina. Nice job. As an option, guys, just as an option, I'm afraid we might not be able to finish this task on time. Yeah. So there is no one single possible solution, no, but one possible option. So nice job. Have a look at one more. This solution is too expensive and will not work properly. Imagine your client offers a solution which you don't agree with. Is this one difficult? Take some time to think. Palina, yeah?
I would like to clarify something.
Yeah, sure.
Am I correct that this diplomatic English works only for indirect countries, but for direct, it will sound weird? For example, Israel, is more direct country, and these like dancing around phrases will sound really weird.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I would say yes. I would say yes, but we will talk about direct cultures like in a bit. Okay, so we will discuss this issue. Okay, I'll tell you my experience of working with a direct culture. Okay, and we'll go back to it. Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, now we are trying to be diplomatic. We are practicing communication with indirect, not straightforward cultures. Okay, and after that, we will talk about being direct, how to be direct, how to be more assertive. Okay. So guys, any ideas about this one? Nastya, thank you for the option. I'm afraid the solution might not be exactly what we're looking for. Oh, this is beautiful. Moreover, it seems to be out of our budget. Great, nice job. Matt offered there might be risk associated with costs related to the option, as well as it seems like the alternative packs might be a better fit for the purpose. I would also, you can add a bit better fit also if you, again, want to polish it off and to sound even more diplomatic. Well, thank you guys for the options. That's great. I'm afraid the solution goes over the budget, and we think it might not really succeed. Yeah, Daria, nice job. This solution could, okay. Unfortunately, this solution, Maxime, nice job. Like I could see the editing. Unfortunately, this solution could negatively impact our budget and might not fit our needs. Okay, probably meant fit like FIT, right? Or suit is also possible here. Yes, suit the needs. And you suggested your suggested solution is great. I'm afraid our expectations were lower than that. We could not confirm it is a good option for our situation. Gonna hear it might be a little bit misleading because you say it's great and then you offer another one. Yeah, I would say your suggestion might work, for example. However, I'm afraid something like that. Yeah, because like this in particular, yeah, this again could lead to some kind of misunderstanding a bit. Okay.
Sorry, that's typical British, you know. Somebody say it's great and then you
It is great. Well, we'll talk about that as well. Okay, coming back to Palina's question, yeah, how to read between the lines, okay, and how to hopefully avoid the situations. Yeah. Okay. Again, as an option, I believe this solution could be a bit too expensive and might not work as well as we would like it to. Again, a bit too expensive. So this is usually a nice way, yeah, to talk about some like adjectives or qualities. Yeah. Okay, I have one more. We don't have time to implement the feature. Mhm. And I'm thinking about your sentence. Maybe, yeah, like this is the way British say. I would just add, for example, at least however, like your suggestion or your suggested solution is great. However, like I'm afraid, yeah, so kind of to link the phrases, yeah, the ideas. Okay, unfortunately, we're unable to implement the feature due to limited resources. Okay. Good. Yeah, you can also say again, if depending on your initial goal, you can say we might not be able to implement, yeah, to soften. I'm afraid we should take more time than we thought, just a sec, than we thought it would take. Okay, a bit more time, again, as an option, yeah. I'm just giving you like the maximum options, yeah. There might be a probability that this feature would not allow us to move ahead with the necessary speed. Okay, that's good, Matt. Nice job. This feature seems to take more time than we have. Okay, again, you can say a bit more time, yeah, to sound very polite. Would it be possible to extend the timeline for the teacher? Okay, yeah, this is also basically, I liked that you are kind of do not get stuck with this sentence, yeah, but like Daddy, for example, Nasty in the previous one, Daddy in here like offers a question, so why not? Yeah, so we're challenging the time to finish this feature. Oh, nice expression. Okay, great. My option was you see it longer than the initial one. Unfortunately, we're a little bit pressed for time, and there is a chance we might not have enough time to implement this feature. Yeah, like to be pressed for time is a nice expression, and I highly recommend you remember it because I guess this is our common state of mind. Yeah, like to have a hectic schedule and to be pressed for time. Okay, guys, and we have two more left. Number 4, I need all of the info ASAP. Also, I believe that's quite a common situation, right? Then we need information from other people, and usually quickly. Just a sec, I will close my window. Okay, let's have a look. I would appreciate if you could send over the documents by the end of today. Nice. Yeah, nice polite request. Would you be able to provide the information until the end of the day? Good. Would again, yeah. So for this citation, would seems to be a very good option, yeah. Oh, Alex is joining. Hi, Alex. Happy to have you here today. Thank you for joining. We are already we have covered some of the materials, but I'm making a recording. I'll be happy to share it with you later. And what we're doing is you have a phrase here, and we're trying to translate into diplomatic English. Okay, so you can share your options in the chat. Marina's option, could you please send me the info a bit sooner than you planned? Okay, this might be tricky, yeah, because we don't know when the person planned it, right? But yeah, it's a question, yeah, like basically, it's a good idea to ask a question in this situation. Okay. Any other options? I missed Karina's, right? Sorry, I just realized that we need more details. It would be great to get it as soon as possible. Yeah, also it would work, yeah. It would be great. I would really appreciate if you could do something or okay. Do you think you could provide, oh, this is a bit of a phrase. That you think, so do you think you could provide the information before lunch to avoid blockers on our side? Yeah. Pay attention, guys, because you could just simply ask, like, could you provide? Or do you think you could provide? It's like question in a question. Yeah. So also it's a nice way, like, do you think you could do something for me? Pay attention to this construction. I recommend writing it down because it's a really good one. My option is, could you possibly provide us with all the necessary information? I'm afraid it's a bit time sensitive. Yeah, you can maybe take a note of this expression because, like, I believe it's a nice one. Yeah, time sensitive. Okay. And guys, we have one more phrase. Violetta has an option as well. Unfortunately, the deadline has been shifted and you should provide document faster. Be careful with this phrase because you should, although like you probably learned that should is for recommendation, right? However, well, in this case, we can't recommend like a client if it's a client. Yeah, we can't recommend a client, like you should provide. Yeah, I would say it would be great to get the document faster, or I would be, or could you provide the document faster? Okay, because this phrase might sound a bit too direct. Okay, and one more, last sentence. Your internet connection is awful. I didn't hear a word. Repeat, please. I believe this also might be quite a common situation when the connection is not so good and difficult to hear a person. Okay, that is option. Sadly, I can hear well. Yeah, nice softener, sadly. Would you be able to check your connection? Okay, yeah, it'll work. Pretty, yeah, it's quite polite. Yeah, would you be able? Yeah, I'm afraid there is some tech problems on your side. Would you mind repeating what you said? Okay. Again, be careful with on your side, although probably you know that it's on the person's side, yeah, but I would omit it. Yeah, I'm afraid there are some tech problems. Like, would you mind repeating what you said? Yeah, also like very nice construction. Would you mind repeating? That's a good one. Okay. Daria, thank you for editing. Sorry, the internet connection was quite bad. Could you clarify what you said? Okay. Yeah, it was quite bad, pretty bad. Good. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, I did a nice job. I didn't have an opportunity to hear you clearly. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. I would appreciate if you could repeat it or send me email with this information. Oh, Marina, kudos, like, nice job. Didn't have an opportunity. Yeah, instead of saying just I didn't hear you. And you can also use different clarification phrases. Like, I didn't catch that, right? I didn't get it. I'm afraid. Okay. Are there? Hey, Alex, thank you for your option. I'm experiencing some issues with the internet connection. Nice job. And wasn't able to hear you clearly. Could you come again, please? Good. Come again is a nice phrase. Yeah. And, oh, sorry, I mixed up two. Could you please repeat what you said? Alex, nice job. And Nasta's option, I'm not quite sure I got your last phrase. You seem to be breaking up. Nasta, this is a beautiful phrase from one of the English courses, I believe. Yeah. You seem to be breaking up. A really nice one. Yeah. Could you come again? And Karina's option, would you be able to repeat your thoughts? I'm afraid we had a poor connection. Yeah. Nice job, guys. And let's have a look who was like the closest, yeah, to my option again. There seems to be an issue with the connection. So seems to be in personal construction. I'm afraid you're breaking up a bit. Could you repeat the last phrase? Yeah, yeah, sure, Daddy, you can ask a question.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I remember like Ala was talking about the position of the word please in the question. So like will influence, you know, the directness of the sentence. Thank you.
This is a very nice question, and this is a common misconception that if we say please, like we are polite. This is something that we have learned from we learned in our childhood, right? Like this magic word. However, yeah, that's true. The worst place of please is at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, like please do. What do you think it will mean if you say to someone, please send me the info? Any ideas? Maybe somebody knows or remembers. What would be the meaning? Yeah, so as long as we're talking today about true meanings of what people say, like please send me the information. Please prepare for the meeting. What is the meaning of this phrase? Any ideas?
Instruction.
Yeah. Nice job. Yeah, this is instruction. Okay. So again, sometimes we may need to give people instructions, but in most cases we need to be well, again, more diplomatic. Right? Sorry for like repeating it over and over again, but we are talking about diplomatic English. In the middle of the sentence, it sounds a bit better, but the best option is at the end. Okay, so also guys, pay attention to that. Yeah, so the best option, could you repeat what you said, please? If the sentence is too long, I would omit please, okay? Because sometimes, you know, honestly, it sounds a bit weird. Would you mind preparing the agenda for the meeting with the customer, please? Okay, I would just omit, because would you mind repeating, or could you? It's already a polite question, you're asking for a request. Okay, yeah, but the best option is at the end. Okay, so try to keep that in mind and like shift to a bit different. Okay, nice job. How was that? Like how difficult was it for you to paraphrase? Can you again give me a number from 1 to 10? 10 being super difficult, 1 super easy. 8, okay. 7, 3, 6, 3, okay. Okay, so it was quite challenging, yeah? There was some challenge, let's say, right? Okay. What about usefulness? How useful was that? 10 being the most useful. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is, I will also give you some recommendations on how you can like improve this skill, okay? Because honestly, like there's nothing super, you know, super difficult about it, yeah? Okay, now, about the speaker's intentions, that's what like Paulina was asking about, kind of, right? And we'll talk about direct cultures as well. Honestly, when we talk about the direct culture, we usually use a direct style of communication, and we just say things as they are. The problem comes when we talk to an indirect culture and all these, diplomatic constructions, and sometimes it is difficult to interpret the speaker, like understand what they really mean. And here I put a picture of a ladder. Remember, we talked about upgraders and downgraders. And what you need to do is when you see a message, especially from like a native like British or American person, you need to kind of scale back a little bit. For example, what I mean, the phrase "we're not quite there yet" might actually mean this is nowhere close to completing the task. Okay, so not quite there, like it means that we have a long way to go. Yeah, so you need to kind of, so they're trying to minimize the idea. You need to kind of see through all these constructions and get to the main idea. Or this is just my opinion, I can say, which might mean anyone who considers this issue will immediately agree with me. And I have one more. When somebody was making a suggestion, I thought we might possibly consider doing something else, maybe. What do you think? And again, the true meaning might be, it isn't working. I suggest we try this. So it takes time to adjust to such a way of communication. And what I would recommend is just like trying to kind of, you see what we did before, we had direct expressions and we made them indirect. And when you're talking to an indirect person from an indirect culture, you need to do the opposite. You need to kind of cross out, delete all these diplomatic phrases, and then you will have the core of the idea that they're talking about. Okay. Sometimes, again, it might be pretty complicated. In this case, I would recommend just clarifying. Right? Clarification is the key to avoiding misunderstanding and some awkward situations. Okay. Now we are moving on to direct cultures. Direct cultures use usually shorter phrases. They have no, or at least a lot fewer diplomatic constructions, and they're cutting to the chase. Do you know this expression, cut to the chase? Can you share in the chat or just speak up? Let's see, you have finished a lot of our courses. You know a lot. What does it mean? Can you share? It's a nice construction, nice idiom, like that I hope that you will take from this workshop. Something wrong with the language. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's getting straight to the point, getting straight, getting down to business, as they say. And you can use this expression, for example, you can say, okay, guys, let's cut to the chase. Like, let's get to the point, okay? And here are some examples, like real life examples of a person from a direct culture, not Russian speakers, but like somebody else, okay? I would like you to send me the report by Friday. So you see, it's like not, would you mind, would you be able to send? I would like you to do. Or, hi again, where should I enter the results? Like no preliminary, hi, how are you doing? I hope your email, this message finds you well, and nothing like that. Or, hi, did you share the correct file with me before the meeting? I can only find this one. You see, so it's like cutting to the chase, getting to the point, very direct, and even phrases are shorter. Yeah, like the sentences are shorter. And here, so we have discussed with you how to be diplomatic. But in today's world, sometimes we need to be more assertive. And I would like to share a case of one of my students. one of my students is a freelance recruiter, and she had customers from the UK, and she was like, her job was to find candidates. And unfortunately, they have been unable, at some point, they were unable or didn't want to pay the invoice, to pay for her services. After writing a couple of diplomatic reminders about the payment, she got, she asked for my help. And I'd like to share the email that we have written together with her in order to, make the clients pay. I will give you a minute to read the email and analyze it. Okay. So guys, can you share what you think about it? Is it polite? Is it diplomatic? Is it more direct? What do you think? Again, you can use the chat or just speak up.
I assume that the last part of the email was was a bit rude to my point of view.
Okay, Daria, thank you for sharing. Too direct with no elegance. Karina, that's a beautiful metaphor, no elegance. Okay. Any other ideas? Anyone else? Okay. Okay. Yeah, like Daria was like totally right, because although, there is it's important to find some balance when you want to be assertive, because you can be too direct, but you don't want to be too direct, and in order not to ruin the relationship. Yeah. Nobody wants to spoil the relationship between you and the customer. And we started off lightly, as I say. So we asked, like, how was your vacation? Have you returned to work already? And we, at first, we tried to be kind of, professional. Like, could you tell me? Yeah. When, wait, just a sec, guys. Close chat for now. Yeah. When could you tell me when you'll be able to make the payments? Yeah. How would you like, again, models? How would you like to calculate? However, in the last part, it was pretty direct. First of all, this expression you said, okay? So generally, it's important, it's better to avoid you phrases, because they might sound as if you're blaming or accusing the person. And then we used a lot of short phrases, short sentences with I sent, I asked, I haven't had any feedback, I wasted my time, I have stopped. Okay, so that is why it's important to, like, again, strike this balance between being assertive, but not being too too direct, too pushy. Okay. What do you think? How long did it take the customers to pay, and did they pay? Can you again share some kind of like reaction to me, guys? Like they did or they didn't? They did not pay, Karina said. Okay. Guys, any ideas? Any other ideas? Do you think this is something, persuasive? This was something persuasive for the customers?
Was it the last email?
It was the last before the payment, let's say.
Okay.
Okay. So
I would add a call to action here.
a call to action. Oh, okay. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. That's a nice it seems okay. Yeah, Daria, that's a good idea, like to call for action. Yeah. Like this is something to be improved. Okay. Marina says it seems to me not customer oriented. Well, honestly, my student was like really pissed off because she had done a good job and she didn't have any payment, and like she complained about the process and so on and so on. We did it. Yeah, they paid the next day, and it was a victory. Yeah, it was a victory. And to be more assertive, so what you can do, you need to cut down on diplomatic phrases. Like it doesn't mean that you don't use them at all, but just like minimize the number. Use stronger expressions. Stronger expressions could be, for example, maybe even upgraders, yeah, like totally or something like that. Not long ago, I made a reels for our Instagram with a trick how to be more assertive, and I talked about negative questions. Yeah? For example, shouldn't it be like $500 if you're talking about the price? Yeah, or don't you think it would be better to do something? And it kind of like forces the person a little bit towards your like solution or suggestion. Yeah, you can check out the video on our Instagram and you'll find some more examples there, and make the sentences shorter. Yeah. Anyway, you will naturally do it if you cut down on diplomatic expressions, like they will become shorter. Okay. And how can we identify another person's tone of voice? Okay. Yeah. First of all, you need to analyze the way person communicates. Here, I have prepared for you guys extracts or like screenshots, real screenshots that I have like come across in my communication. Okay, let's analyze them. I'll give you like 30 seconds to look them through. Okay, so what kind of culture do you think the person comes from? Direct or more indirect? Well, you can write in the chat or just speak up again. You can just write direct or indirect. Indirect. Polina says, okay, guys, do you agree? Indirect. Okay. What shows? Let's analyze a little bit quickly, because that's also an important thing. Can you, again, say or write the phrases according to which? Violeta thinks it's direct, you see? So let's kind of prove, right? Or confirm, yeah, that it's a particular kind of culture. So what kind of expressions? Well, honestly, I'll give you the correct option. It's an indirect culture more, yeah. A bit of, right. I can't get fixed, kind of. I would rather underline unfortunately, yeah, like a softener. I'm going to, possible. Sorry, yeah, so sorry for replying so slowly. Sure, like sorry about this, like too sorry, like in 4 lines. Can you imagine? Here again, sorry to trouble you. Okay, or to trouble you again. Yeah, Polina, nice job. And at least one more construction here in the second one. Yeah, Polina, great, nice job. I don't seem to be able to, instead of saying I just can't, yeah, I don't seem to be able to. Actually, here, like a typo, yeah, 2 is missing. Okay, nice job. Let's have a look at one more. Just got a message from a direct culture representative who you sent. Nastya, thank you for the off topic, but it's actually very connected, right? Yeah, and you can see the direct culture. Will you send us updates today? This is very direct, yeah. Okay, one more slide, okay? 2 more messages. Okay, again, is it direct or indirect? Direct. Actually, second message is more direct. Okay. Guys, this is interesting. Okay. The second message is more indirect. Do you think it's a message from different people or from one person? You can write 1 and 2, for example. Hard to say, probably, right? Okay. 1 person. Polina's still okay. 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, like that was the second question was like really hard. Honestly, these 2 messages come from the same person. Okay. And here, the idea is that you do not have anything, any diplomatic expressions here, right? But on the other hand, the person doesn't need them here because the person is just giving some good feedback. Yeah, I would pay attention to the word fabulous because, well, it's an upgrader, but usually if you pay attention to how English-speaking people give feedback and share some comments, usually they are more emotional than we are. They are fabulous. That's fantastic. Yeah, the group is great, really nice to work with. Okay, so here, like we do not have, again, just to summarize, we don't have any diplomatic instructions just because diplomacy usually comes from where when we talk about, you know, something kind of unpleasant and negative feedback, breaking bad news. What about the second one? Which expressions show that the message is indirect?
Is there a possibility?
Nice, yes, sure. Of someone organizing instead of, oh, sorry, instead of saying, can someone organize? Is there a possibility? Okay. And what about this one? You see a little emergency, a bit short to organize, a bit time short, also like really nice expression, a bit time short. Okay. And guys, I think like 2 more slides. What about this one? Well, this is also obvious, right? Is it direct or indirect? Nasty, thank you for the answers. Is it direct or indirect? Anyone? Direct, definitely. It's definitely, I need passcode, full stop. Right? Some more. Again, the same question, direct or indirect? So what about this one? Directness, it says. Yeah. Although, again, here, what is the trick? We don't have any like might or could you and so on. The sentences are still, yeah, okay, it is a good idea, full stop. So, very short ones, just cutting to the chase, getting to the point. The second one as well, yeah, did you share? I can find. A British person would ask like I usually like, or something like, I can't seem to have find, or something like that. Okay, and one more. The last one. Again, the question is the same, direct or indirect? Okay, Karina says direct. Guys, do you agree? Alex, you say indirect. Direct. This is rather direct. Although it's not like rude or anything like that, but it's just to the point. Hi, Alex. Even no exclamation mark here. I don't have access. I would like to upload. Please let me in. Again, please let me. It sounds like an instruction. Thanks. If you remember the previous couple of screenshots, right, from interview, they are even longer. Of course, like here you have a bit more information, but even this one, yeah. I can, a direct culture would say, representative would say, I can't find the video. Yeah, like, can you send me the video? And so this is also a message from a person from a direct culture, okay? And the strategy is to identify another person's style of communication and then adapt to it. So if it's a person coming from the US, the UK, for example, then you go back to like the first part of our workshop and you use all these models, continuous forms, all these euphemisms and all these diplomatic constructions. If a person, like again, getting back to Polina's question, right, in Polina's example, and you, somebody else wrote that you've been working with Israel, for example, right, quite a direct culture. You need to, again, vice versa, use fewer diplomatic expressions, maybe none at all, and be very direct and specific. And I can share a couple of situations from my experience. I had experience of working with a person from a direct culture. English was the means of communication between us. And honestly, well, I've mentioned that I've been teaching business communication for a lot of time, and this has become my second nature. And when I give feedback, when I break bad news to a person, I usually write very diplomatically. And I continued this style of communication with this person. And it led to a lot of misunderstanding, I have to say. The person didn't listen to my feedback, didn't exactly do the tasks that I asked for or asked about, and really had misunderstanding. We had a call with each other where we honestly voiced our concerns, and then I realized that the person comes from a direct culture, and I have to change the way I am used to communicating. And I started to write more direct messages. I started to write, to give more direct feedback. And even just talking, again, I had to change the way I talk to people because, and I even practice, guys, because it was, well, I can say painful, but it was very, quite difficult for me. And that is why, again, if you're working with a direct culture, it's better to avoid such like diplomatic, like all these long constructions and sentences, because probably people will find it weird, right? And will not, they might not have respect for you. And it might lead to some confusion or some misunderstanding. And yeah, okay, so like that was my experience. So like it's important to adapt, although we are speaking English and we're using English as a means of communication, we need to adjust a little bit because the world is becoming kind of smaller. We are working remotely, we're working with different cultures and countries. And that is why it's crucial to adjust your communication a little bit. Well, again, just some summary. For indirect cultures, you need to explore and to implement and incorporate diplomatic language tools, the ones that we've covered. And for direct culture, short, precise sentences, honest feedback. Just be honest, and it will like change the way you communicate with these with representatives of such cultures. Okay, and a couple of recommendations. Observe how your colleagues and customers communicate. Nastya gave a very nice example. So she shared a screenshot from a colleague or customer, right? Like, will you send us like something? And it's nice that you analyzed it and you think, okay, this is a direct culture. Yeah, so try to analyze. Also, especially if you're working with native speakers, I really recommend analyze the emails, the messages. The way we did with you today, when this email, like before and after with ChatGPT, you can, I would recommend writing out the constructions, and even to go the extra mile, you can even categorize the constructions according to the function, for example, like how to give an update or how to disagree, how to ask for something. In our business courses, we provide students with similar, with such vocabulary lists and ask them still to work on them and to be able and to like compile your own list, because it will help a lot. Listen actively during meetings. If you can record a meeting and then you can like re-listen to it or rewatch it once again for the same purpose. Write down the expressions that people are using and try to implement them. Check the meaning if you're not sure. Because it might really help. And Marina's back. Something happened. And watch English films and series. But not just like, as a background. You can learn a lot from it too. I can share an interesting, again, kind of like episode or extract. I was watching a series, Madam Secretary. It's an American series about like politicians, about political life, something like that. And there was in the very beginning of season 1, there was an episode when parents wanted to talk to their they had 3 kids, 3 teenage kids, and they wanted to talk to them. They wanted to talk to one of their daughters, and the phrase that they used to ask the other 2 kids to give them some space, to leave the room, was amazing. In our culture, we would just say something like, go to your room, or, can you leave us alone, right? But what they say, I checked it and I wrote it down. They said, would you mind giving us a minute with your sister, please? Can you imagine? So if they talk like that to their kids, teenage kids, can you imagine the way they are expecting people to talk to them? Okay, so this can be like really, really insightful. So watch with critical mind, and it will also help you like build up your vocabulary list, and just it will help you notice the cultural differences. And a couple of resources. The choice today is overwhelming. I don't want to overwhelm you. I'll just give you 3 options. Like the first one, the first 2 are books. The Culture Map by Erin Meyer is, like my go-to book in terms of cultural communication and cultural differences. I highly recommend. It's easy to read in English, and it's easy to read in terms of vocabulary, and also because it contains lots of stories and cases. So like it's a page turner. When Cultures Collide by Richard Lewis, it's a thicker book, but so if you're really interested, you can have a look. But at the end of the book, there are chapters, small chapters, like 2, 3, 4, 5, like from 2 to 5 pages, devoted to particular countries. And one of my students shared a great experience when she works for an outsourced company, and when they start working with a client, for example, from Germany, she sends out a chapter from this book, When Cultures Collide, to all the team members. And in this chapter, there is information about some cultural moments, about motivation, how people deal with time, and so on. And people come to like start a project kind of prepared what culture they're going to work with. So like I highly recommend. And business podcast, this is honestly, it's not only about cultural differences, but it's just a great resource for enriching the vocabulary and picking up phrases that will help you to conduct meetings, conduct negotiations, and a lot more. So there's a plethora of podcasts, and I do believe that it will be like very, very helpful. Okay. Questions, guys? Do you have any questions that you would like, or maybe some experience that you can share? Anything?
Question. So,
Yeah,
Olga, could you
sure.
give some examples of the countries, like of direct and indirect, countries?
I will add this slide to this presentation and will send it to you. Mostly I took it from the book by Erin Meyer. Okay, so she has this kind of categorization, let's say, of direct and indirect cultures. Let me stop sharing and let me find it quickly. If I can find it, I can definitely show it to you. I just have it on a separate file. But indirect, guys, let's brainstorm. Do you have any ideas of let's first start with direct cultures. Yeah, Polina, the book is amazing. Yeah, I agree. Okay, yeah, here it is. Just a sec. Yeah, just not to waste the time. Okay. Here is also like one of the presentations. These are more direct cultures, and you see Israel is like on the extreme left. Yeah, probably Asian countries. Nastya, totally agree. Japan, Thailand, Saudi Arabia, Korea, they are very indirect cultures. You see that the US, the UK are somewhere like in between. However, you need to look at the scale kind of relatively. Yeah, so Russia, like Russian speaking people, yeah, and the US, they would be quite different. Of course, the US people are not like Japanese, right? But still, India is quite indirect. An Indian person will never say no to you. Never, ever. And it's also a challenge to work with such people, because you ask them to do, they nod, they sure, but they don't do it. They don't do it because and you will never know like what they really think. Parina, yeah, sure.
I have a small note here
Mhm.
because it's a scale in
Mhm.
terms of negative feedback.
Mhm.
But in deep, so I have these notes just because I read this book
Mhm.
as mentioned, The Culture Map, and
Mhm.
I really love it. And I would just say I just have a cool example from this book about the directness and indirectness. And I was started thinking about jokes. For example, in Belarus and Russia, like when we are telling a joke,
Mhm.
we are not just saying that it's a joke. You must read the room. You must understand in between the lines. And when you're starting to explain the joke, it
Mhm.
means that the joke is bad or you are stupid.
Mhm.
But in the America, they are always adding like the phrase, "I'm just kidding, it's just a joke." So they are like making it straightforward. They
Mhm.
are saying that it's a joke.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it's like a temperature and something that that helps me to understand if the country direct or indirect, just one of the way.
Mhm.
And of course, we couldn't say that this suggestion will work in 100% cases, but I think it's a great example how to understand if this country direct or not.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good example because Palina had a very nice point that this the thing that I talked about is quite kind of let's say rough categorization or classification, right? Because like a lot of things in between, right? In Erin Meyer gives 8 different categorizations. And about the joke, it's more about low context and high context cultures. America is a pretty new country, right? And when so and it's so just a sec, like uh let me just double check. Yeah, America is a low context culture. It means that for them, it's very important to, it's not about being direct or indirect. It's about giving the information, giving the details, because it comes from like basically the origin of the country. When Columbus discovered America, then a lot of people had to, like a lot of immigrants came into the country, and they had to find, and everybody spoke different languages, and they had to find like a common language. Yeah, that is why it's not about being straightforward, it's about like giving the amount of information. However, Japan is a high context culture, and a lot of things in Japan are read between the lines because it has always been kind of isolated. This is a little bit different. We were just today having a look at language tools, like how to be diplomatic and what is diplomacy and how to be like more direct. Okay, but yeah, this is a very good point. Okay. Okay, guys. If you have no more questions, can you share in the chat some feedback? I would really love that and would really appreciate that. How useful was it for you? What was new? What was interesting? What was maybe surprising for you? Take a minute, okay, and I'll be really glad to see your comments. Palina, thank you. You can think about, nice to thank you. Think about something that was useful, because when we recap and when we do some kind of self-reflection or reflection, we will learn the information and like memorize it better. So okay. Yeah, important to see the constructions. Yeah, so we will share the slides with you. That is why, and it will be like easier for you, yeah, to revise. Okay, Daria. Yeah, it's true that sometimes I think that a lot of us already are getting or got used to being indirect. And for me, it was it was a first to be able to adjust to a more direct culture. Although, like, it was not a Russian-speaking person, but just a person coming from a direct culture. And again, as I mentioned, it was a challenge for me. Yulia, thank you so much for the comments. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It was a great pleasure to work with you today. Thank you for such great participation. Thank you, Allah, I guess. Is that Allah? Thank you so much for your active participation. It means a lot to me because, again, I didn't want it to be a webinar or like a lecture. I wanted you to participate actively and to learn because, you know, when you are doing things, you're learning, right? Thank you so much. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a great evening, guys. Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.